Hello everyone. Today we're going to be harvesting our very first bunch of Dwarf Ducasse bananas. So we've been having a lot more wind and the dwarf bananas have done much better because they haven't fallen over like the big Cavendish ones did. So it's been very easy. This one was leaning a bit because it's a very big bunch and it was quite heavy, and so we've been easily able to prop it up with a bit of wood, and look how close it is to the ground. So it's going to be very easy for us to harvest. So you can see how windy it's been because this banana bag has been ripped to shreds already. So I'm just going to rip it off and show you what a beautiful bunch of bananas this is. So as you can see, they've all ripened up from the top. There's only a couple of hands at the bottom that haven't ripened yet. And we actually sampled one this morning and it was quite tasty. So it's very good to have the bananas so close to the ground because as we're getting older, it's difficult to climb up and harvest them. So now we won't have that problem. Also, it means that the flying foxes seem to bother them less. We've had some problems with the flying foxes getting into the Cavendish bananas, but we didn't have any problems with these. But it is important, we are going to ripen them today because they smell delicious and I'm sure the flying foxes might be coming to hunt them. But if we have a turn around now and look over here, we can see that this is probably the next one to have a bunch. And as you can see, it's a hugely solid banana, but it's not very tall. And so when our next bunch comes out, it'll probably just drop down about here. So that'll be easy to harvest too. Okay, shall we get to it?
No, let's look at the pumpkins first.
Oh, you want to look at the pumpkins as well? Okay, all right. Well, we've had this amazing new idea of growing pumpkins over an arch, and we didn't know what we could do the arch with, and then we figured out that we could actually use this here. Now,
reinforcing steel.
That? It's reinforced steel, or rebar, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's what they usually lay in the concrete when they're making driveways and pathways, and it's incredibly flexible. And so we basically stuck it in the ground on this side, bent it over, and stuck it in the ground on the other side. And look what a beautiful pumpkin arch it's made. And you can see that the pumpkins, actually we train them up a bit and then they just go for it themselves, climbing up to the top, and then their leaves stand right up. And it's actually been really windy, and so they've taken a bit of a beating, but they've managed to stay on board, and you can see that there are actually quite a lot of pumpkins coming from them. You can see some of them dropping down over there.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to see them, but this is working much better because normally pumpkins just take up lots and lots of ground, whereas this way they've actually taken up very little of the bed.
Yeah, but there's going to be quite a good.
And we do have some pumpkins on the ground, but
there's also some hanging down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this has worked much better.
Much better for us because it takes up less room in the garden.
It's also easier to hand pollinate the
flowers.
flowers.
Because at the moment we don't have any honeybees in our garden.
No, all the honeybees died from
varroa mite.
Varroa mite.
Yeah. Oh, and this is the biggest pumpkin over here. Look, this is a nice one.
Yeah, these are butternuts.
Yeah,
very odd shaped butternuts.
Yeah, so this has been a good experiment.
And we're definitely going to grow pumpkins this way from now on. The rebar has a lot of spring in it, which you can see we've staked it here. We've put star posts down to stop the ends from springing out because, yeah, it's got a lot of spring in it. It would break your jaw if it hit you. So it's quite scary putting it down and bending it, but
yeah, but it worked really well. And the only thing you have to be careful of course, you've got to remember to duck or you'll hit your head on it, which I have done.
Okay, should we go see what a wasabi fountain looks like?
Oh yeah, let's look at the wasabi fountain. It needs shade. So wasabi needs shade and it needs running water. And so we were trying to figure out how we could actually look after it and get it to grow well here, because it's quite hot and it needs to be looked after. So this is what we've created. In this bowl, there's a supply of water, and this little fountain is connected to its pump and powered by a solar panel. The cord goes up to the roof, and basically this is just a little pump. We bought it on AliExpress, and it's the same sort of one that's over here in our little pond, and I just put the pump itself in the bottom and then gradually built it up on its little connectors until it sits.
Put a hole through the pot?
Yeah, the pot. We drilled a hole in the bottom of the pot, and I filled it with stones at the bottom, and then lots of this gravel, and then at the very top level, underneath this gravel, I put potting mix. And also, you can see that here. See, there's the potting mix. And also, I put perlite in as well, so that provides plenty of places for water to collect as well. That's a great way of holding water.
And we put mosquito netting in to stop the potting mix from going down into the stone layer.
Yeah, so that's right. So there's a couple of different layers of mosquito netting, fly mesh that you just use on windows there. And there's also fly mesh over this, which is sitting above the water to make sure that mosquitoes actually don't get in and breed here. We certainly don't want that happening. And this wasabi gets a tiny little bit of sunshine the very first thing in the morning, and then after that it's entirely in the shade. And you can see it's really loving its little fountain. It's growing really well, and it's actually very tasty. I've eaten a couple of the leaves, and we're hoping that it will actually produce some of the rhizomes that we can actually grate and use for our yummy Japanese food.
Yay. So that's a wasabi fountain.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's also beautiful. We're very happy with it. All right, so we're out the front garden now, and this is another pumpkin arch. As you can see, with all these ones here, it's been really battered about by the wind. We've had some really, really windy days. Wind gusts up to 40 kilometres an hour.
50.
Or was it 50 even?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Anyway, but they still managed to actually do not too bad. But you can see there's been quite a bit of damage to the leaves, but they're still doing well. And we find this really good. The other advantage of it is it provides an area of shade in the garden as well, which is really, really important. So this area is shaded, and there's a pool of cool air that actually really is very beneficial for the plants. So you can see these pumpkins. These are a French pumpkin. I think they're called Nicoise or something like that. I probably would have got the pronunciation.
Or something.
Yeah, the pronunciation incorrect, but they are actually a lovely pumpkin. I'm really looking forward to trying them. And before we had these here, we also grew on this arch some Styrian black pumpkins, which you actually you only eat the seeds of those. And they're massive pumpkins, really big ones, but the arch still held them up. So we're very, very pleased with it.
Yeah, we had about 8 on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we had 8. They were really big, like Halloween pumpkins.
Yeah. So
and yeah, the arch was fine.
Yeah, I think it tilted a bit, but it's still, because it's so flexible, it still was fine.
Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at our fig. We're sort of doing structures today, aren't we?
Yes, well, in a way, yeah. New ways of growing things.
Before, when we lived on a farm, we never had to do any of this because you never had any birds around or anything like that. So
yeah, so this structure we've built. We've got star posts in here and piping that we've put up to make an arch for the fig.
Yeah, the piping does the framework,
yeah,
and the foundation is provided by the star posts.
Yeah, so this flexes a bit in the wind, but it hasn't blown over, and the wind has been really fierce, so it's done really well. And then I made this net to go over it out of white fly mesh, yeah, so that it protects it from birds and it's
much better than agricultural mesh, because the agricultural mesh isn't locked, whereas the mosquito mesh, is locked, and it's a lot solider. So this will last over several years, whereas the agricultural mesh was
It will
lucky
get blown
to.
about by the wind and start to separate.
Yeah.
Holes in it.
Well, grasshoppers would get it and separate it and
Well,
climb
that's
in.
true, and climb in, wouldn't they? Yeah, that's true. They burrow
It
through
was
it.
absolutely ridiculous stuff, but this is a lot more expensive, but it works
It
a
works
lot
much better. Yeah, and it's not hard to sew. I sewed it on my sewing machine. It worked really well.
And the idea behind it is basically to stop fruit fly and birds.
Yes.
Because
otherwise
the birds will eat the
would
figs.
eat all the figs, and the fruit fly would get what the birds didn't get. So now we're actually really pleased with it. The fig is actually growing like massively, and it's so much so that it's sort of like popping its thing off. But with this double zip here, we can open up and have a look inside. There are a lot of figs on this.
Yeah,
it's grown really,
pretty
really
much
well.
Bursting out of this container.
And you know, the figs are just, they're going to be wonderful once they start to come right. There's a few up here that are starting to look a bit bigger, but yeah, it could be a couple of months yet till they ripen up. We'll wait and see. But yeah, we're very, very pleased with these and this structure. It's worked really well.
Okay, so that's about it for today. Thank you for staying tuned.
See ya.